Hello, good evening. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I hope that you guys can hear me okay because I am in my kitchen. And typically in my kitchen, I have somewhat of a bad connection sometimes in here. I'm coming to give y'all the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, Goddess. Um, and they hate when I come and talk about this, but it is the truth, unfortunately. Um, but it is what it is. So, what I want to talk about is deadbeat parents. Doesn't matter, male or female. You had a deadbeat parent, somebody that didn't. A deadbeat parent. Typically, the psychosis that they are in is that they have given up on life. They felt that life was too hard for them. Sorry, I got the microwave going right now, guys. Uh, they very negative. Okay, listen, how many say hold on. So, here's the deal with this. And this is the reason why you have to be an individual and you have to be strong beyond your parents. This paradigm was actually predicted. It wasn't set in stone in the Bible, but it was predicted. It's funny how it's crazy because the Bible consistently says through it, don't talk to soothsayers, or what do they call us? Soothsayers, mystics. But then at the same token, the Bible is filled with um, future predictions. It's filled with divinating what they can see in the future. So if you had a dead parent, first of all, more than likely, this was a person that couldn't quite get their mind right. Okay, so this person, and unfortunately, it's even more prevalent in the poor community, not in the Black community, but just in poor communities. But it's been something that it's rarely talked about. Really, well, it's not rarely talked about. You can actually go and look at a lot of videos about narcissistic parents, but what they fail to really talk about for you guys is what that deadbeat parent wanted to use you for. This was a parent that was not willing to make sacrifices for their family, which, to be honest with you, when it comes to sacrifice, what does that even mean? I guess you could say, working and, taking the time out to make sure that you're taken care of. Making sure that they do the right thing by you. So if you're so your deadbeat parent never had any parental instincts. And if a deadbeat parent didn't even have instincts for a little baby, then what do you think that means? And so pretty much the reason why they give you so much hell, they go to church, they pray against you, it's almost like the parent is in competition. They don't see you as their child that they want the best for. They see you as competition. Just, and I think it's a spirit. So what they do is when you get older in life, these deals that they made with these demons, which is a lot of the Gerber Life plan. Remember that? That was real popular back in the 70s and the 80s. And your parents was these deadbeat parents are typically broke, but we know that money doesn't matter because we see a lot of good parents that didn't have much, but they were still good parents. And you know they tried very hard for their family. But typically, if you had a scheming, scamming parent that couldn't see the forest from the trees, like at all, like it's just a dummy. It's just a dummy. A complete dummy. You see them back when you were a small child, dumping you off on other people. They just didn't care much about you. They had these expectations of you that you couldn't possibly measure up to because they didn't give you what you needed at home anyway. So they basically set a trap for you, predicated by a demon. This is called child sacrifice. They worship the demon Moloch. They're not worshiping Jesus. Jesus. The Moloch, even the demon Moloch, is even featured in the Bible. I don't know which part of the Bible it is where it talks about parents eating their children and boiling their children and eating them. That was the demon Moloch. It was child sacrifice. And the messages are actually encrypted in the Bible. So you start to realize when you get in your 30s and 40s, you can hear. So that's why they didn't want us to open up our third eye or our ears. You can sense it. You can hear it in spirit. When you open up your third eye, you can hear it, sense it. Them praying for your downfall, them praying for you to die, them praying for you to be alone and broke. That's what they wanted, because if somebody cared about you, then they would lose their sacrifice. If your parents showed signs of not loving you as a baby or a child, what plan do you think that they had for you when you got older? This is what a lot of people are blinded to. If you have a deadbeat parent that doesn't care about you, please believe that they making deals with devils. And it's usually life insurance. They don't realize that, damn, couldn't you go out and, because typically a life insurance policy, what the Gerber grow up plan, $25,000, 20. Ooh, I can get, and they just don't have it in them. It's nothing wrong with you. You did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. I promise you, it's not you. It's them. And they raise you with all sorts of triggers. I know this one girl, her father didn't, he tried to cover it up as if it was some weird Oedipus complex on the father's part. But in reality, he didn't want his daughter to be presentable because he didn't want her to have any friends and nobody that gave a damn about her. So later on in life, it still followed her. He would dress her in rags. He would dress her in rags. And that stigma followed her. It followed her. They mean to sacrifice you. If they don't sacrifice you energetically, they're trying to sacrifice your entire life. They want you dead for some, you know, it could have been an argument with your mama. It could have been an argument with your daddy. Now all of a sudden, you're not their child no more. You did something. You harmed something. It's your fault. Because this is a person that can't be reasoned with. This is a person that really doesn't have any survival instincts themselves. That's why you see a lot of them doing that. Okay? And it's so sad, but it's true. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. And the demons, they hungry. They want to feed off of your life force. Because the parent is saying, I don't care. What did this child do? Well, she disappointed me. She dropped out of high school and got a job because I couldn't buy her anything. I couldn't buy her maxi pads. So I'm mad because she dropped out of school because she didn't want to go to school and bleed all over the classroom. This is the kind of sick stuff that they do. They don't deserve no credit. And you know what? While they are launching campaigns against you, you need to be lighting up them candles on them. Because a lot of y'all got children yourself. A lot of y'all got babies and you just want to see the babies grow up and then they just like, they'll never call. They'll never check on you. But you will hear some of their triggers throughout social media, won't you? Because they've been talking to people. Oh, I don't like my daughter. I don't like my son because of whatever. It didn't matter. You could have ended up being the president of the United States. They still would have did you like that. They don't care. They don't even care about themselves. A lot of them were drug addicts that never got it together, or either they were on drugs and they became brain damaged. Okay? Remember the ads back in the day? The drugs? They be flying ahead. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. They lost it. And then they got older and they kept going to church and they kept being, confronted by the demon Moloch in the church because you wrong, because times have changed. And this has been going on for thousands of years. Then they get on that cholesterol medicine and their brain gets to deteriorating. That's what cholesterol medicine does. It deteriorates the brain. When you eliminate all of the stress factors, you eliminate the need for any of that. You eliminate the need for blood pressure medicine. You eliminate the need for cholesterol medicine. You eliminate that need. But instead, they create the stress factors and they just pick just every day the way they move when they, if they working out, when they work out, that's how they move. And that's what I was talking about earlier. They act like they moving in silence. Nah, God sees you and he's going to give I'm talking about the true God. I told y'all what I told y'all, didn't I? It ain't nothing that they can do about it because they were tested and they should have been able to see, oh my God, I'm wrong. So this is where only the strong do survive. Okay, but see, you yourself, whether or not you have children or not, you have the right to survive that. You have the right, don't you? Because God loves you. Don't you ever forget that. Don't you ever forget that. And it doesn't matter what they do. So if you have that kind of parent, be prepared for later on in life, especially if you got good stuff going on in your life and they feel like a loser and a failure. Oh, trust me, it's worse. It's worse. If they done gave up on life a long time ago. And it's a selfishness. There was a movie with Drew Barrymore in it. And I think, what was it called? Riding in Cars with Boys. she ended up pregnant by a heroin addict. And she was in love with him, but they ended up having to walk away from the relationship, because he was on that dope, he was on that stuff, he was on that smack. And so it was a point in the movie where he's talking to her and she's like, just go. And he's like, all I have to do is use a little bit of heroin every day and I'll be okay. And she was just like, do you really want to stick around and ruin our lives? Y'all got to see that movie. Hey, I Am God, 1982. Yes, that's the way you think. God gave us that knowledge for this because a lot of them, they got their heads stuck in that Bible. But the Bible was supposed to teach you discernment. It was supposed to teach you how to make the right decision. It wasn't meant for them to actually carry that out. And God said, like, what the hell are you doing? That's why God is showing us their rituals every time they do it. And you can hear them in spirit. Some of y'all got narcissistic fathers. They don't want nobody to treat you right. They don't want you to be happy. Some of y'all got narcissistic mothers. So I'm gonna tell y'all something about the youth, though. I have hope for them. In spite of the actors that I see in social media, I have hope for the youth. They need that hope. They need that encouragement. They need that support because they are the future. And they have to know, if you got a good parent that loves you, that got gray hairs on their head because they love you, you better appreciate that, because many of us, especially them damn baby boomers, they wasn't right. They wasn't right. They malnourished you as a child. A lot of y'all still healing from being malnourished. Your body is still healing from being malnourished. They didn't feed you right. Okay? They made sure that you were sickly as possible. They didn't give a damn about you. It's the truth. And they hate parents that love their children. They hate you. These are the type of... let me tell you something. And yeah, they are human beings, but they are human beings that have been possessed by demons. They don't deserve any credibility. In fact, if your children don't want a damn thing to do with you, leave them alone. They want to come off with a facade that they're a good parent, but we all know that they're not. They don't give a damn about you. If you died, they would go to your funeral and they would only pretend to cry. I can tell you one thing, I ain't gonna never see none of my kids die. God knows what I can handle. I'm gonna go first. Okay? I'm gonna go first for sure. I've been good. I've been blessed. How are you? My grandmother from my mother's side is a narc. Yeah. Yeah, it's just real sad. And y'all can't just sit up here and just lay down like a dog and take it. You have to fight. You have to fight for your right to live. Because some of them, they thought about it. They said, wait a minute. They said, hold up. We're not gonna abort this child, but instead we're gonna use this child as a means to an end. Now, you would think that they would have enough sense to just go out there and make more money. God forbid they start a business and make more money. They see you doing it, they got a problem with it. Well, I couldn't do that, so I don't want her to be able to do that, because they ignorant. They ignorant. Everybody always worried about the younger children, but you gotta focus on the children that are our ages too. The ones that are of all ages. You can't just say, oh, well, you know, you done got old, so it don't matter. Yes, it does, because we have to raise our children. We have to be able to give them something. They have to, we're not done. We're not done with what we're supposed to be doing for our own children. But the parents, when they, oh, man, you know, you done, you this and that. Hey, man, let me tell you something. Y'all better get out of that and control your own mind. Many of y'all are under mind control from your parents. I know it might sound wrong, but sometimes I want to fight my step grandma for hurting my father. Well, you don't want to fight them, but you want to fight them spiritually, because that's what it's all about. And the ones that's up in that church are the worst ones. They the worst ones. They know I'm telling the truth. They know I'm telling on them. That's why they hate me. I don't give a shit if you hate me. I am God's messenger. Facts. I ain't talked about this in a while, but I'm talking about it today for a reason. I don't trust somebody. I don't trust you if you don't give a damn about your kids. I don't trust you. Something wrong with you. A parental instinct is a parental instinct. There's a lot of parents that will cut their right arm off of their child. They would, in a heartbeat, if it meant that they could live. Your parent was a coward. Okay, they being tested, and then they'll read out of the Bible, and they don't want to admit that they being tested, and they failed, and then they don't, and then they just don't give a damn. Okay, so then that's when you have to move forward with yourself. And some of y'all need to get the hell up out of this country. I know I would love to get out of this country. I would love to never be seen again. Just go and leave this country. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere safe and get away from that. You know what I'm saying? Just the truth. They are absolutely disgusting individuals. You mean to tell me that I'm gonna wait 20 or 30 years for a life insurance policy when times is hard, and you done pissed me off? So now you got to die because I never could figure out how to manifest some money. Goodness gracious. I do it out of my bare hands every day. You would think that with all their jobs and degrees, they just don't like you, and it doesn't matter. You got to like and love yourself. A lot of people, if their family don't accept them, they're very sensitive to that, and that's understandable. That's understandable, but you know what? Hey, it is what it is. God loves you, so what difference does it make? You know what I'm saying? Your children love you. They dependent on you. Okay? And you just gotta, that demonically possessed parent, God only knows what's gonna happen to them. Y'all saw that movie Skeleton Key. Remember at the beginning of the movie? And you see all the horrible stuff that happened to her. That woman was so stupid in that movie. It was a good movie though, but the woman was stupid. The nurse was stupid because guess what? She felt sorry for that man. The woman came and she said, he's Mr. Talcott's gone, is what she said. And she was like, okay, we'll get his stuff out and we're gonna, take it out back. And she was like, well, what about his family? And she said, they don't want nothing to do with him. And what does she do? She feels sorry for him instead of having any discernment. She feels sorry for him, grabs some of his items, and then she goes and works for the lady. That movie was very symbolic of people letting their emotions get ahead of their head. That was a very powerful movie, The Skeleton Key. She ended up having all that bad luck, ended up losing her body, ended up body snatched because of her emotions about her father. Okay? That's exactly what happened to her. And if your daddy ain't right, your daddy don't want you to survive, then fuck daddy. You got a sky daddy. And you got to believe in that because it's there, trust me. And I'm going to tell y'all something before I go. I love you guys. I'm only going, I'm not going, and I ain't going to keep discussing this either because I already told y'all what it was. And I already told y'all that I'm very aware of everything. Okay. Y'all going to see some apparitions that are out of this world. Okay. If y'all want to see a sign of God, it's coming. But it's not going to come in the form of killing everybody. You know, see, that was so that that was so that they told you that so that that demon could feed off of your damn fear. So God is in control of all of this. Okay. You love Japan. God is in control of all of this. I promise you. And he's giving you the discernment that you need on this. Yes, Kate Hudson. Yes, that was a very good movie. Okay, guys, I love you. I gotta go. Happy Yule to y'all. I will see y'all later. It's nothing but the truth. You gotta get over it. Please understand that yes, other people are going to love you. Because somebody said, and it wasn't a very wise thing to say, but I guess that's what he knew. Years ago, he said, well, if your mama don't love you, ain't nobody else gonna love you. And that's not the truth. It's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna love you. Okay? Don't matter if your mama don't love you. You know what I'm saying? The great mother loves you. Gaia loves you. Okay? Yeah, that was a trip. But see, that lady, she let, and she was following her heart. But when you think about it, just look at the movie, look at the story of what happened. And so that's, that's the interesting part about it. And I will get more into breaking down that movie or whatever, because you are supposed to follow your heart when it comes to love, but she was following her heart when it came to her father. And it must have been a deeper story behind that, what was going on between her and her father. Okay. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see y'all later. Happy Yule. Bye-bye.